Ready to break free from algorithms, vanity PR, and money-sucking ads? My name's Larissa Worstiak, and I've learned in 8 years of jewelry marketing that content is the crown jewel. My agency, Joy Joya, takes a holistic approach, leading with laser-focused storytelling, impactful content creation, and strategic content distribution. This method has worked for the solopreneur as well as the multi-million-dollar company, and now I'm sharing the same systems and tactics with you. Here's to standing out in the sea of sparkle. Welcome to episode 298. In today's episode, I want to have a heart-to-heart about the time you spend on your marketing efforts. Many jewelry solopreneurs like yourself may not be dedicating as much time as they could to working on their businesses, especially when it comes to marketing. And I know it's not because you don't know what to do. Often, the challenge is actually just figuring out where to start. Marketing can feel overwhelming, leaving you unsure about the best way to spend your time. And this can lead to spending not as much time as you should on marketing, but just because it's tough to decide where you should begin. I could remind you endlessly to spend more time on your marketing, but that's not what I'm here to do. Instead, I want you to work smarter, not harder. And this episode is all about maximizing your marketing efforts so you don't spend endless hours reinventing the wheel each time you engage in a marketing activity. Intrigued? Keep listening or watching for the details. And in the Goldmine segment, I'll tackle the topic of gatekeeping, its prevalence in the industry, and why it doesn't have to be that way. If you find it difficult to access valuable information about starting and growing a jewelry business, stay tuned for this segment near the end. But before we get to the solid gold, I'd like to take a moment to remind you that this podcast has both audio and video, so you can either listen on your favorite podcast platform or watch on YouTube by searching Joy Joya. You can support the podcast for free by taking the time not only to subscribe, but also to leave a rating and review on Apple Podcasts. Also, if you didn't know, I co-host another podcast called Success with Jewelry with my friend Liz Kantner, who's also a jewelry marketer and the founder of the Stay Gold Collective. We have a free version of the podcast, which is available everywhere you listen to podcasts and on YouTube, as well as a membership community with extended episodes and additional resources. I invite you to check it out if you're hungry for more content. Before I jump into the main content of this episode today, I want to tell you about our new free masterclass available only for a limited time. This masterclass will give you valuable insights into our flow so you can master the rhythm of creating compelling content, process so you can understand the creative strategies used by the Joy Joya team, speed so you can accelerate your content creation process, and by the end of the masterclass, you'll have a simple content plan for an entire month, 1 full-length blog post optimized for SEO, 4 email campaigns inspired by the blog post, and 12 social media posts repurposed from the blog post and emails. Have you been feeling overwhelmed with content creation for your jewelry brand? Do you want to know how to save time and work smarter, not longer? Learn how to repurpose content efficiently and confidently using my proven methods. Don't miss out. Visit myjoydeck.com/masterclass to access it now. I'll put the link in the show notes as well. But you'll get ready to transform your content creation game, and this is only available for a limited time. Okay, let's get into today's episode, my sparklers. So who out there wants to work smarter rather than putting in longer hours? I know that sounds good to me. I'd rather be playing with my dog or cooking a delicious meal than burning hours on marketing that can be done more efficiently. Can you relate to that? The marketing landscape is vast, and there are so many things you should be doing. Optimizing your e-commerce website, sending regular email campaigns, posting on social media, building your audience and brand awareness. The list goes on. And to make matters more complex, there's technology like AI that promises shortcuts, But that often feels overwhelming too, right? Well, at Joya, my team and I have had to figure this out of necessity. We don't just have one jewelry business to worry about, but we have many. And our attention is spread across multiple clients, each one deserving our full attention, not like half-assed attention, right? And so we have to work smart, and we can't afford to spin our wheels. Efficiency and impact are key, and we focus on the marketing activities that matter the most. So where do you start? Well, I know you might not want to hear it, but it all comes down to good old planning. Yes, that's the foundation of working smarter rather than longer. You'll need to invest some time up front. It's going to be an investment, but you'll be thinking through your calendar for the next 6 months or even as far out as you can go, if you can go further than 6 months. But having a plan, even one that you know might change, that allows you to get more done and be more creative. And we see the direct benefits of this every day in our agency. The clients who are most decisive and they work with us to get ahead of the calendar, they get the best results, period. That's really it. It seems simple, but when we know what's coming, we have ample time to anticipate the possibilities, get creative, strategize, work super efficiently, build in time for changes and edits. And on the other hand, the clients who are more last minute with their marketing, or they tend to just take longer about making decisions, sometimes those clients don't get the best results because things are done in the 11th hour. And also we can't put as much creativity and strategy into it and even anticipate possible things that may not go the way we planned. And so my point here is the first step is having a plan and having clarity about your business's future and being super decisive. It sounds simple, right? It's really the magic secret. If you're looking for that magic secret, this is the most unsexy magic secret I will ever share with you. You need to take action sooner than you think you need to take action. There you go. I just shared with you the magic key. Now that you know my super unsexy number one magic secret, I need to tell you that you have to prioritize high impact activities. This one's tough because high impact tasks often require more thought, more intention, and sometimes a little bit of risk taking. For example, spending 4 hours or even more, or even a little less than 4 hours, but a good chunk of time on one Instagram reel is low impact. In contrast, spending 4 hours planning out your welcome series for email marketing, or even making those emails, or whatever aspect of that you're working on, that is high impact because it leaves a positive first impression on your new subscribers, and it's something that will remain in place for months and just have an impact on the overall customer experience. Working on low impact activities rather than high impact ones is, I hate to say it, often a form of procrastination for the work you know needs to be done. So when you feel that feeling bubbling inside you, try to push through it and figure out what are the high impact activities. And going back to my magic secret, the way you figure out what those are is by having a plan out as far as you can go. Another really big part of our strategy for working smarter rather than longer is content repurposing. And at Joya, over the past 8 years, we've come to understand that content creation and storytelling can be time consuming. What a discovery! It takes time and effort. You're wasting time if you're sitting around with writer's block or you're unsure of what to say, because just the making, the doing part takes time. And so if you're just sitting there wondering, that's going to take even more time. And so what we try to focus on with repurposing is putting the most thought and effort into one masterpiece of content and then repurposing it in multiple ways. We start with a well-written, detailed blog post that's based on a theme or story. And if you're not a natural writer, this is really where AI can help you outline your ideas. I'm not saying write your ideas or write the content, but help you in the brainstorm process. And from there, you can create at least one email campaign and multiple social media posts, up to a dozen or more. You can even reuse the same images and graphics, ensuring that your audience has a cohesive experience driven by story. And again, if you want to know exactly how we do this, check out our new content repurposing masterclass. It's free and comprehensive. We made it because this is one of the most common problems we see, and we want to empower you with all the tools you need. I put the link in the show notes, but you can visit myjoydeck.com/masterclass to access it now. All right. And the last tip I want to give you for working smarter rather than longer on your marketing is batching your tasks. This can be tough, but again, back it up. It comes down to planning. If you're someone who knows what you should be doing, or you've even figured out how to make repurposing work for you, but you still find it somehow always gets pushed aside or forgotten, then batching is going to help you. So task batching is a process of grouping similar tasks together and completing them in one dedicated time block rather than switching between different types of tasks throughout the day. The benefits are you'll minimize distractions because as a business owner, especially if you're a solopreneur, there are a ton of things that you need to tackle throughout the day. When you batch those tasks, so it's like a tongue twister, then you minimize the need to having to switch between activities, which takes a lot of brain energy. You'll reduce downtime because sometimes in between tasks, you even need to wrap your head around, okay, what am I doing next? If you know that you're doing X at Y time, you can do it much more quickly and efficiently. It also helps you maintain a consistent output and quality of work because then you're in the right mindset for whatever task you're performing. And it'll just reduce your stress overall, along with having a plan. Both these things will make marketing feel more manageable, less stressful, and dare I say it, enjoyable. Could it possibly be? So some examples of task batching in your marketing would be with content creation, for example. Dedicate a specific block of time to create multiple pieces of content at once. So if you were following our content repurposing method, for example, and you were taking one blog post or one email campaign to repurpose into a bunch of social media posts, I would say sit down and make all those posts all at once. Write out the captions, plug in where in the calendar they're going to go, get all that done in one chunk of time. If you're more in the content planning stage for a bunch of pieces of content and you know for the next month or 2 months or 3 months you need XYZ, batch a block of time to just do the brainstorming for everything. It frees up so much space in your brain because now you're okay, I've kind of gathered and organized my thoughts even for 3 months out. And that way, when it comes time to actually make the things, I'm not starting from scratch. And again, this allows for a continuous flow of creativity and consistency in your messaging as well. So what do you think? Are you ready to work smarter rather than longer? Let me know in a comment on YouTube or DM me on Instagram if this resonates with you. All right, let's get into the gold mine. This is a segment of the podcast where I get personal and share insights on entrepreneurship, mindset, success, growth, and all things business. And the gold mine allows me to just share topics that are closer to my heart. This week, I want to talk about gatekeeping. If you're not familiar with the term, it refers to an individual or a group that controls access to information, resources, or opportunities. And it may not even be intentional sometimes. It could just be like an accidental thing that ends up happening. But when gatekeeping occurs, you kind of feel it, especially if you're on the outside of something that is being gated, I guess. And if you're new to the jewelry industry, you may feel, unless you're like a lucky one who has all of the knowledge, you might feel like access to valuable insights or best practices for starting and growing a jewelry business are really kept within established circles. And that can make it feel like it's hard for you to gain competitive knowledge, or even to just sort through like all the stuff on the internet or on Google, or piecing together things from here, piecing together things from there. Even specialized training and certifications can be expensive. Often they're available to those that just have connections or money. And I do see this happen a lot. Again, a lot of times it's not intentional. It's not because people are mean or bad. I think really it just happens because we're in a competitive industry. And a lot of the times the people that do have access or information, they might feel afraid of losing what they've worked hard to gain, especially if they've been established in the industry for a long time and they consciously or subconsciously feel threatened by new people coming into the industry. And they have like a scarcity mentality in some ways. Again, not saying these are bad people or bad organizations or mean or evil. It's just kind of a thing that happens. It's human nature. And I've been thinking a lot about gatekeeping lately because I hear about it a lot. I see it myself. I see it happening. And I think, while I am by no means an expert in all areas of the jewelry industry, at the very least, I'm really committed and my team is committed to sharing everything we know about marketing. And so I want you to consider this the anti-gatekeeping podcast, at least when it comes to marketing. I'm an open book, and if I am not enough of an open book, I want to be more of an open book. I want to share as much as possible with you. I try to be as honest as I can. I mean, I am as honest as I can, and I give you advice that I follow myself. I'm not going to tell you something that I won't apply to my own business in whatever way it applies to Joy Joya. And so as a team, we really aim to welcome you into our world where things like consistency, strategy, intention, and storytelling, in my opinion, always win over shortcuts and quick fixes. Always. And it's important to me not to gatekeep because there are so many marketing gurus out there. They promise quick riches if you buy their programs, and they claim to have all the secrets. I know this because I look at other agencies and marketing experts, and because of that, I get targeted with their Instagram ads, and I see all the promises they're making out there. That kind of advertising, that kind of messaging is not only a form of gatekeeping because they're saying they have something, but you can't have it unless you pay all this money. It's also kind of a form of deception because while there may be exceptions, 99% of people who think somebody has information that they don't have, they're not going to achieve the promised success or whatever case study they're sharing. It's kind of like buying a lottery ticket. That doesn't guarantee you'll win big. So anyway, I went off on a little bit of tangent, but I hope this podcast is your anti-gatekeeping safe place. And if you have any questions, I don't want you to be shy. Drop them in a YouTube comment. I literally respond to every single YouTube comment. DM me on Instagram. That is me, Larissa, answering everyone on Instagram. I'm an open book. I may not have all the answers, but I will say I'll never withhold information. And I'd love to hear your thoughts about that. Did you have any questions about today's episode? Don't forget to check out our new free content repurposing masterclass, which you can access by visiting myjoydeck.com/masterclass. But hurry, because it's only available for a limited time. And by the end of the masterclass, you'll have a simple content plan for an entire month, one full-length blog post optimized for SEO, 4 email campaigns inspired by the blog post, and 12 social media posts repurposed from the blog posts and emails. Again, if you want to reach out, you can always email me, Larissa, that's LARYSSA @joyjoya.com. And if you love this podcast, please share it with a friend who'd appreciate it. Don't forget to subscribe as well as leave a review on Apple Podcasts. If you're completely new to digital marketing, then you'll want to purchase and read a copy of my book, Jewelry Marketing Joy. Visit joyjoya.com/book for more information.